mercenaries, really, that's the double M. Born baller, baby boy, I be above the rim.
What's good, family? It's your boy Just Blaze, host of the best NBA pod in the game, Above the Rim. Keep it locked each week and join myself and a special guest as we tackle the latest rumblings in the league. If it's happening in the NBA, you know I got you covered. Make sure you subscribe on all platforms and leave that 5-star review. Let's get it.
Is your turnover total any sort of indicator on that there is a learning process you're going through? And what's it been like for you to pick up Frank's offensive system?
Oh, it's fine. This is not the turnover stuff. It's on me. But good thing they don't count. So I turned that bitch over 15 times. Nobody can do nothing about it.
You said the Cribberino? I didn't know what you said. Oh man, they said the Cribberino. Hey man, listen.
Talk about it!
You are now tuned in to Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets.
Family, what's good? Welcome back to another edition of Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets. You already know how we do. Brought to you as always. It's your host, Justin, aka Just Blaze. You know the drill. To get in contact with me, you can always hit me up and follow me on Twitter at JustBlaze_513. IG JustBlaze513. On Facebook, search Above the Rim Podcast. Email the show as well. Above the Rim NBA Podcast at gmail.com. Tap in and leave the family a voicemail. Line is always open, 908-718-1592. Family. Merch is always ready to be copped. New colors, new flavors. Appreciate you as always. Let's get into it, man. Quick solo episode this week. Let's get right into this action, family. I had to do a quick wrap-up episode. There's a lot of things happening in the NBA. So let's get into some news around the NBA, man. First off, I got to talk about those LA Lakers. The LA Lakers look suspect. Now, before I talk about any basketball activities, I got to talk about what happened on Sunday night, man. LeBron, Isaiah Stewart. What? Come on. Getting into it on Sunday night. And LeBron gave him a little nice little hand check. Nice little elbow / punch / mush to the eye. Isaiah Stewart started bleeding out. Young center for the Pistons. I don't know if he was 20, 21, but young man from the Detroit Pistons finding his way into the league. He went crazy. He went off. He got that blow to the eye, started leaking. He just got a little out of control. He started charging at LeBron, charging at DeAndre Jordan. Russ was there ready to square up. LeBron wanted no pieces of the action, hiding behind the refs, but it's all good. Isaiah Stewart, man, he was out of control. I'm not gonna lie. But a couple of thoughts on this really quick. LeBron, a little bit disappointed in you, my brother. You gotta be a little bit more responsible. You can't be clocking son in the face like that. Come on. I know you may have been a little frustrated throughout the game, or maybe the team was frustrated throughout the game with Isaiah Stewart's his energy, his hustle, his defensive rebounding. But come on, man, you can't do that too. You can't do that. You know, let's call a spade a spade. The streets is talking. The streets seen it. You know, it was a little bit of a cheap shot, but it's all right. It's not something that you normally do. You're not a dirty player or anything like that. So, you know, you probably just got a little bit frustrated and you were just annoyed at him really trying to box out or really trying to grab the offensive rebound at the free throw line. So it was all a misunderstanding. But Bron, you can't do that, my brother. Come on, man. Maybe Stewart got crazy because Bron didn't say sorry after that. I know some people said you tried to apologize to him, but if your eye's leaking, your blood, you got mad people around you, when stuff like that is happening, you're a little bit in shock because you see yourself leaking. You know, you just lose your consciousness for a second. You just lose your consciousness. I think he definitely was out of control, running, throwing down his coaches, the assistant coaches, the security, trying to get to LeBron, especially going in the back and try to get out the other side to get LeBron and the rest of them. He wasn't really, he wanted to smoke, but Isaiah didn't really want to smoke. You get what I'm saying? Because if you really wanted to smoke, you would have threw that punch in the beginning. But hey, it's neither here nor there. Over, swept under the rug. Let's hope that this doesn't hinder Isaiah Stewart's career in any way. He's still young in his career. Hopefully LeBron hit him up and apologized to him. Hopefully everyone can forget about this, because I would hate for this to be the major stain or the major reason why people remember you or remember your NBA career as a dude who was charging at LeBron. Because that shit was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. It sure was. But that was a small part of what was going on with the Los Angeles Lakers, because, man, like I said before, the Lakers look suspect. Let's talk about them a little bit. The Lakers look a little suspect, barely cracking 500 record-wise, 23rd in offense, 20th in defense. This team, man, they got to get it together. They have a lot of issues right now, and issues that will take them some time to fix. Now, let's talk about LeBron. He's been out, in and out of the lineup this season already. He took a few extra games off, I would say, after his... What did he have? I think it was an abdominal injury. I'm forgetting what the injury LeBron had because he was out for so long. But I think it was an abdominal injury. Just came back now, 2 games in, coming back, played against the Celtics. Then they, on this East Coast road trip, played against the Celtics, played against the Detroit Pistons. Now is suspended for the game in MSG coming up tomorrow night. So I'm disappointed that LeBron is suspended for that game. But that just means we get a little bit more mellow. So let's see how that goes. But back to LeBron. In his 2 games back now, I'm not really feeling what I'm seeing out of LeBron right now. He's, it looks like to me that he's turning into a jump shooter this season, and I don't necessarily like it. At least for these last 2 games since he's come back now. I know he's trying to ease in, but the Lakers, they don't have any time to waste, any opportunity to be easing into the season. You guys got to get it ready, get it going now. So I'm looking at LeBron when he's in these 2 games since he's came back. Only 2 free throw attempts. 2 free throw attempts and 10 threes in 53 total minutes, averaging 22, 5, and 6. Pedestrian numbers for LeBron. I'm not liking that. That shows me you're taking a lot of jump shots. If you're only shooting 2 free throws for LeBron, it's unacceptable. We know LeBron can go to the rim at any moment and get fouled at any moment. And you know the refs are going to call it at any moment. So that, to me, 2 free throw attempts in 2 games, that shows to me that he's not aggressive enough. I know he's easing back in, but he's got to be a little bit more aggressive than that. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Everyone on this Lakers team looks like they're trying too hard not to step on each other's toes. They haven't had that many games with the entire lineup, with the big 3. They still have a lot of injuries on the bench. Trevor Ariza still hasn't played. There's a lot of guys who still haven't played that may be in the playoff rotation going forward. So they got to clean a lot of stuff up, and that starts with LeBron. That Celtics game, very winnable game. They lost that. Detroit Pistons game, they were actually on pace to lose that game while LeBron was in, but after he got ejected, that must have rallied them. Russell Westbrook played great down the stretch. AD played phenomenal down the stretch, phenomenal defensive plays, and it took that win. But let's be honest, it was the Detroit Pistons they were playing against. Let's be real. The Lakers look bad right now, and it doesn't look like they know, and it doesn't look like Vogel knows in particular how to fix it. I'm seeing a lot of poor transition defense. I see a lot of looking around at each other when they miss an assignment, poor rotations by Vogel. Rondo and Russ should never be playing together. I don't know why that's a lineup for numerous minutes in the game. Starting lineup to me is a little bit big and clunky. That would work, I would feel, against less experienced teams, but the elite teams, they know how to take advantage of that lack of perimeter defense and also the lack of hustle on the defensive end, because I'm seeing a lot of that as well. Offense, still finding itself, looks a little disjointed. Lakers are second in pace among teams, so they are moving the ball up the floor, playing with speed. But in the half-court offensive schemes, it looks bad, in my opinion. It looks bad. I really don't like what I'm seeing. I could count on my fingers on how many plays I see the Lakers run. Not a lot. A lot of standing around, a lot of ball watching, which isn't going to get it done. Listen, man, teams are not afraid to play the Lakers anymore, so they will be getting everyone's best shot every single night. And they got to be prepared for that. And right now, they're not prepared at all. Russ, he's been very difficult to analyze, man, because on one hand, he's helping the Lakers with his force, his pace, his penetration, and transition scoring. But man, he's killing the Lakers with these turnovers. These shits are out of control. Now, y'all know I'm a point guard guy. CP3 is my son, but I'm very big on turnovers. And man, when I see Russ's turnovers, they are ugly. They are ugly when I see Russ's turnovers. Just lack of awareness, knowing where his guys are supposed to be, leading the league in turnovers, obviously. But man, he's got to tighten that up, man. He's making too many poor decisions, especially down the stretch, especially in tight games. It's just not going to cut it, man. It's not conducive to a championship team to have your point guard create that many turnovers and lose that many possessions throughout a game. It's just not good. It's just not good. We know that already. He's gone to clean that up. I'm sure he's aware. I know everyone else has told him about the turnovers he's committing, but this is typical Russ. I'm not surprised. You shouldn't be. He's a turnover machine. That's what he is. What he does good, he also gives you some bad as well. So you got to take the bad with the good with Russell Westbrook. And I never thought this trade was great to begin with for the Lakers. I actually thought they downgraded from last year's roster, but hey, I didn't think they really needed to switch apart their roster that much and bring in 14 new players, which is a little ridiculous to me. But they wanted to go the superstar route. They wanted to go the blockbuster route and bring in Russell Westbrook. So these are the things you got to deal with when you have Russ on your team. You got to deal with a lot of headaches, and he's going to have some phenomenal plays too, as he did down the stretch, dunking on my man Amadou Diallo. And he played great down the stretch, man. So they're going to have to deal with that. And it's going to be a hell of a roller coaster all season long for the Lakers. Let's talk about AD too, man. I got to be honest. I don't know if AD is ready to be a number one option on a title team yet. I don't know. I don't think he's ready to be a number one option for the Lakers yet. I know it may look so. I know everyone wants him to be the number one option, but it's not the skill that AD lacks. It's the hunger. Not saying that he's not hungry. He needs to be a little bit more hungry. I don't think he's alpha enough on this particular team to demand that rock as many times as he should throughout the game. He's still averaging 24 and 10. Still great numbers for AD. But it's how he's getting that 24 and 10. A couple of games, he looks very dominant. But then there are also a couple of games where he fades away to the back for a couple of quarters, for a couple of possessions, nowhere to be found, drifting off at the three-point line. That's not what we need to see from AD, especially if he's playing center. Because if he's playing center, which he has been in the last couple of games, he has to be down in that paint, in that post, catching lobs, defensive rebounding, blocking shots, offensive rebounding. He needs to be doing all of that while he's playing the five for the LA Lakers. So we're going to see how he gets better or improves moving forward. But I don't know about that number one option for AD right now. Maybe they're not going to him enough, which I can't say yes and no, because they do go to him from time to time. He does get a lot of touches, but some of his points are not forceful enough as they need to be, or as impactful enough as they need to be for him being the number one option. So he definitely has to improve on that, and we'll see how he does going forward. And before we move on to Melo, man, I got to talk about Melo a little bit. But before we move on to him, I got to play a little voicemail from the Melo bodyguard himself, my boy Remo, CEO, Rich Threads. Talk to me, my brother. What you got for me?
Yo, what up, Just? You already know who it is. Remo, a.k.a. Mr. Rich Threads, a.k.a. Melo Ring, checking in with the Above the Rim family. You know I got to talk about these scumlord Lakers, man. I don't know what I've been watching. I don't know what's been put together. I don't know who's coaching them. I don't think nobody thinks AD's top 75. He might not even be top 10 in the league right now, period. Giannis just went up his chest. You could pencil any star in for 30, 40, maybe 50 against the Lakers right now. The only bright spot and the most consistent player right now is, through to the dome, my boy Melo. So we get a chance to talk about it, because I heard we in New York. Come on.
Three to the dome general himself, Remo. Shout out to you, my brother. I appreciate you. Should have been here on this episode, but I know you out doing some things, my brother, but we showing love. Let's talk about Melo, man. I agree with you. I mean, lone bright spot for the Lakers, averaging 15 off the bench, shooting 40% from three, which is obviously a career high. I have nothing bad to say about Melo and the job he has done, because he's doing his job and then some. for the Los Angeles Lakers this season. To be fair, I actually think he isn't utilized well enough in this offense. I honestly don't think he's even getting enough touches. I mean, I look at the numbers and he's still getting a decent amount of shots a game, 11 per game off the bench. It's a pretty good number for someone coming off the bench of double-digit shots. But to me, 4 or 5 out of these shots, of those 11 shots, are rushed. Not gonna lie, I see Melo a lot of time. Well, he's hanging at the 3-point line all the time. They basically relegated him to corner duties or basically being a spot-up 3-point shooter. He gets a touch in the mid-post here and there if he really gets aggressive and calls for it. But Melo, to me, he looks like he's just trying not to step on anybody's toes, just trying to play his role within the offense, get his touches within the flow of the offense. Definitely not dominating the ball at all. But they could utilize him a lot more, man. He's been pretty much their best scorer, not numbers-wise, but he's been their most effective scorer, I would say, for this entire season. Like, these buckets that Melo was hitting, especially in the Staples Center, they are timely and impactful. You know how big I am, family, on impactful baskets. And all of Melo's baskets are impactful. You hear how loud the Staples Center gets when he's shooting them threes. They are. But Melo's got to get some more touches. Now, I hope going into MSG, he better be getting fed early and often in that next game. We'll see how that goes. But Melo, he's been excellent for the Lakers. He's been one of the lone bright spots. And I think one thing I will say also as well before I move on, they got to stop looking Melo off at the 3-point line too. I'll say a lot of times in transition, Melo is open, clapping for it. Russ, a lot of times when he has it, he looks Melo off a lot. He's got to give Melo that rock, especially when he's clapping for it, especially when he's open at that 3-point line, especially in transition. Got to hit Melo off with those passes, man, because as we see, it's water. It's water. Vogel, he might be fired by Christmas time if the Lakers are still in AC. Who knows what's going to happen to him, man. I think the Lakers won't hesitate to fire Frank Vogel. They got a couple of coaches on that bench that could take his spot. Fizdale, Andy. They got a couple of guys who are eager to take Frank Vogel's spot, so he better watch out. He's on a hot seat alert as well. So we got a chicken for that. Now, Lakers, we'll see. Ending off the East Coast trip, they're going to be in MSG tomorrow night, so we'll see how that rocks out. I think they have one more game on this East Coast road trip, and we'll see how they go, man. They got the band back together now. Everybody's semi-healthy, being on the roster after LeBron serves this suspension, so we'll see how they go, man, because the Lakers need to get it together if they want to win this season. Suns in 5, though. And I said before, Melo coming into MSG, the Lakers and Knicks playing in the game here tomorrow night. I'm here for the Melo revenge game. I hope so. With Braun out, getting suspended for that game. But Melo, man, he should be getting fed early and often in this game, like I said before. And I wanted to touch on the Knicks really quick while we're discussing this. They're having a little bit of a rough patch right now in the season. Still early. They got up to a hot start. Knicks fans are talking a lot of shit. And rightfully so, because they were playing well, but they've kind of regressed to the means a little bit. They're looking like a 500 basketball team right now. They haven't won consecutive games in November. Defense looks a little sus when last year they were a top 5 defensive team. I'm just not liking the body language coming from the squad right now. I'm not liking what I'm seeing in these last couple of weeks from the Knicks. Julius Randle in particular, when I talk about body language, man. A lot of pouting from him, complaining to the refs, excessive complaining to the refs, and not adjusting to the defense. If it's not a 3 or a bully ball or occasional little turnaround fade, he's struggling. He's struggling to generate offense. He's struggling to create offense. And he still needs to diversify that offensive repertoire because I'll tell you right now, he's not a number 1 option. And if they get to the playoffs and he's still the number 1 option, it's not going to be great right now for the New York Knicks because the defense is going to be geared toward him the same way the Atlanta Hawks did last year. And he's going to get shut down again because I haven't seen him diversify that offense or really take a step forward in the offensive department this year. I still see the same kind of moves from Julius Randle, even though they are effective. When it gets down to the playoffs, everything in the regular season is not as effective. So we'll see if he can adjust. Still early in the season, he's got a lot of time. I think he can adjust. I think he will adjust, and I think he will get better as the season goes on. And as far as the Knicks go, one person that needs to get better as the season goes on is Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker, man. I'm not gonna lie. When I look at Kemba right now, I'm a little disappointed in Kemba Walker this season. I'm not gonna lie. He's got to step it up. 11 points a night, my brother. That's not gonna cut it. 11 points is not gonna cut it. Rose and Quickly have been closing games for the Knicks, and no disrespect, but that's disrespect to Kemba, and he should take it as such. Rose, yeah, he can close. Quickly should not be closing over Kemba Walker, and that's the problem right there. Which means that Tom Thibodeau, he doesn't trust him in the clutch. It means he's not playing well throughout the games that he should rely on him in the clutch, and it's not happening right now for Tibbs. So we know Tibbs, he's gonna go with the hot hand. We know he's a very tough-minded coach. We know Tibbs don't play that shit. So there's a reason he's not playing Kemba in the fourth as many minutes as he should. And it's because Kemba Walker's not playing well. 11 points, that's not it. He's shooting just above 40% from the floor. That's not good enough. Kemba, you are a 20 points per game caliber scorer. 11? 11? 11? That's bench player numbers. That's pedestrian numbers. You got to step it up, man. He needs to earn those crunch time minutes, and I hope that he will. We'll see. We'll see how he rocks out, man, because I don't know. He's got to get better. Moving on. Let's talk about the Suns. Let's talk about my boys in the Valley. The Phoenix Suns. See y'all in June. Stop playing with me. The Suns are streaking. The streets was on my bumper last year talking about the finals run, that it was injury-based. I don't want to hear any of that right now. The Suns came into the season banking on chemistry, and unlike the Lakers, it has paid off. Second in the West, 8th in offense, 3rd in defense, longest win streak in the league right now. 6 players averaging double figures in scoring. Booker's a top 3 2-guard. McKellar's an all-defensive first-team candidate. Ayton is about to unleash. The bench is looking confident. And the point guard is averaging a double-double while leading the league in assists and steals in year 17. What more can I say, man? This team has been playing well, especially in crunch time. New York City road trip coming up for the fellas. I got to check for these tickets. I should be out there in the Garden and in the Barclays. We'll see which one I head to. Hopefully I can get there. This will be a nice test for the team, man. And let's see how they do, man. They're playing the Spurs tonight. Hopefully they get that game in an extended win streak coming into New York City coming up. Suns, man, clicking on all cylinders. CP3 is quarterbacking the team as he usually does. JaVale McGee has been playing excellent. He's been a great pickup for them. Landry Shaman has been playing well after a rough start to the season. Cameron Payne is back, shoring up those backup point guard minutes. And I got to say something about him. He's been playing phenomenal. And I love how he quarterbacks the second unit. He knows when to attack. He knows when to distribute. Hits a couple of open jumpers. Plays great defense. Just a smart player, man. So I really love how Cameron Payne has been given adequate backup minutes for CP3 and really allowing him to get some rest so that he is rested. So he can get those crunch time minutes and get those crunch time buckets, which he's one of the best in the league at. Him and Book. I don't know. I know the Suns are probably top 3 either. I think top 3 in the league in crunch time scoring. So Suns have been playing excellent. The end of November is going to be a hell of a showdown with the Warriors. Christmas Day they played them also. So it's going to get real sticky for the Suns, man. And I really love what they're doing right now. You know, I said see you in June. I've been on that all year. I called them going to the finals already, and I'm not wavering off of that. So let's see how the Suns round out, if they can continue their hot pace. And we'll see, man. CP3 MVP campaign coming soon. Y'all know how I do, man. See you in June, man. Fellas, keep moving. Let's talk about the Bulls really quick, man. The Bulls top in the East. What more can I say about them as well? 7th in offense, 9th in defense. Let's show the Bulls some love, man. They are playing excellent. Big ball away over there. Lonzo's playing well. Listen, man, I know they were going to be good, but I didn't know they were going to be this good. DeMar, Lavine, both averaging 26, playing excellent off of each other. I'm not sure why the media has only chosen DeMar DeRozan to be an MVP candidate for the Bulls, but Lavine has been playing just as well. They both have been playing excellent. I can't even pick and choose which one will be an MVP candidate. We might have to double it up. on those brothers because both of them are just as important to the Bulls' success. Their numbers are damn near identical. Both are averaging 26, 4, and 5 or 26, 5, and 5, shooting very close to the same percentage, over 45%, I believe. Numbers are damn near identical, man. So both of these two have the same amount of impact for the Chicago Bulls, and both of these two have been playing excellent. And I'm very impressed by what the Bulls have done so far. They're playing with a lot of cohesion, a lot of camaraderie, playing defense. Alex Caruso has been an excellent pickup for them. I gotta show them some love. I don't have much bad to say about the Chicago Bulls, man, because I'm really rooting for their success because it'll be nice to see them in the playoffs, and they definitely should be making the playoffs, barring a lot of injuries. But it's gonna be excellent to see them in the playoffs, man. And if I had to critique the Bulls, because no team is perfect, if I had to critique them, they need to improve on the interior, mainly rim protection, mainly rebounding as well. 28th in total rebounds in the NBA right now. Not going to get it done too. That's not championship worthy. So they've got to get better in the middle. I know they've had a drop off of big men. I know they wishing they still had Daniel Gafford now. Well, now he's on the Wizards making moves. But after Vooch, they don't really have a tough interior presence, man. Not at all. They don't really have many shot blockers on that team. Patrick Williams going down for them was a tough loss. So they've been trying to supplement some size by going small but playing aggressive. Caruso been checking in for a lot more minutes, but they definitely need to sign another big as the season goes on, maybe via trade, maybe via free agency or something, buyout, whatever. But they definitely need to pick up a shot blocking, rim protecting, rebounding center from the Bulls, and they definitely can keep up this hot pace. And I hope the Bulls can keep this up, man, because I definitely think they will end up being a top 4 seed in the East, and that is huge for them. Huge for the Chicago Bulls to go from no playoffs, not making the playoffs in how many years? I can't even remember right now. It's got to be a little bit under 10. I don't think it's 10 years yet. I'm tripping. I'm not 10 years, but over 5 has to be since they made the playoffs. So it'll be excellent to see the Chicago Bulls in the playoffs, 100%. And before we get on out of here, also, man, I threw up a poll on Twitter. I got a lot of love and a lot of votes. So if you voted on this and you're listening to the show, I appreciate you. The streets tapped in and answered the question that I asked. Who would you rather have as a duo right now? Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, or Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan? Streets tapped in, the streets voted, and out of 705 votes, 75% said Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan. Wow. Now listen, I'm not mad at that choice, but I am surprised at the overwhelming win by Lavine and DeRozan. Because I disagree. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I know the streets are loving the Bulls right now. They're loving Lavine and DeRozan. And I'm not mad at y'all for picking those two. I'm not mad at y'all at all. For me in particular, me personally, I'm gonna disagree right here. I'm going with that Celtics duo, man. Everybody here, y'all, if you listen to the show, you know how I feel about JT, MVP candidate, one of my favorite players in the league. And no disrespect here. No disrespect, but if I'm keeping it a stack, if I'm keeping it funky, DeRozan is the worst out of these 4, in my opinion. Listen, man, people are forgetting that Tatum was in the Eastern Conference Finals battling LeBron in his rookie year. Been to the conference finals twice already. He's only 23. Only 23. Didn't even hit his peak yet. Didn't even hit his prime yet. DeMar DeRozan has peaked. This is peak DeMar DeRozan. Actually, a little less than peak DeMar DeRozan. He's just playing a little bit more smarter right now. But DeMar DeRozan has always had the skill, so I don't know why people are surprised that he's getting buckets. He's been a bucket getter forever. Mid-range assassin, we already know. But he's not better than JT. I'm sorry. He's not better than JB. I'm sorry. Two-way players? Give me that. Give me JT and JB, both two-way players. Give me that. I love me some Zach Lavine, man. Listen, jump shot is water. He's been playing exceptional the past couple of years. All-star caliber. All-NBA caliber. But I gotta go with JT and JB, man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, the Bulls are playing better right now as a team. Those two individually are playing better. Those two as a pair are playing better right now than the Celtics duo. But make no mistake about it, I really like the Celtics right now. I've been high on the Celtics all this year. They've been disappointing me a lot this season. But I think they're gonna round out the form. I think they're gonna play a lot better. They went through their little growing pains. Marcus Smart talking shit to the media. You had to say JT was ball hogging a little bit and Jaylen Brown was ball hogging. I assume they must have had a locker room discussion amongst players, hashed it out amongst men, and we keep it moving. So hopefully the Celtics are better for it now. And they're coming around lately. They're rounding out the form. They've been playing a little bit better. But the difference between these two pairs, to me, is point guard play. Having Lonzo in Chicago makes a huge difference. There's no Lonzo in Boston. He's a pass-first playmaker. That's very important for those two highly skilled wing players. Getting them in their spots and alleviating them of playmaking duties, because that's Lonzo's job. So that's a big difference. The Celtics, they have Schroeder, but Schroeder is not a playmaker. He's a scorer. He's really a six-man microwave type scorer, but sometimes he starts right now because Jaylen Brown has been out. Marcus Smart, we know, is not a point guard or a playmaker. They don't really have many point guards on this roster, so that's the Celtics' Achilles heel, and that's kind of has been their Achilles heel for a couple of years now. They're relying on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to do the primary playmaking and some Marcus Smart, and that's not enough. That's not elite playmaking. All of those guys are scorers or defenders, two-way wings. Not primary playmakers. So that's the difference to me. So individually, I'm taking the two. I'm taking Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum for me. So we'll see, man. But I do agree, though, with Marcus Smart in saying that JT needs to pass that rock a little bit more. I think he's leading the league in shot attempts, and that shouldn't happen. JT, you're not a volume guy that much where you should be leading the league in shot attempts. So you definitely got to cut those down. That is eye-popping, and that is something to monitor your shot attempts per game, because that means you need to be passing that rock around. You need to be sharing that wealth, and you need to be playmaking a lot more. If you're shooting more, that means you're playmaking less. Need to see you step up. So we'll see. That'll be a hell of a first round series or a second round series. I don't know if it'll be a second round, but a hell of a first round series that will be. If that's a 4-5 matchup, give me that any day of the week, 7 times on Sunday. I ain't gonna lie. So that'll be solid. Anything else around the NBA? Oh, Luke Walton. He got fired. Who cares? It's time for him to go. Who cares? Hopefully Sacramento can be a little bit better now that they got that mediocre coach out the way. Alvin Gentry, I think, is up there now. They promoted him. I like Gentry. We call him Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank from Moesha, I call him. So I bang with Alvin Gentry. So he'll be a good coach for them. Hopefully they can step up. De'Aaron Fox over there, they can play a lot better. TTK, Tristan Thompson over there is playing, trying to be a leader for those guys. So we'll see how they play. And yeah, man, I just wanted to do a quick wrap-up episode. Let the streets know what's going on in the past week in the NBA. Gonna have a couple more guests coming in these later episodes. Gonna do a bunch of team episodes as well, focusing on individual teams as well. So if you guys do have an individual team that you want me to focus on for a particular episode, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram. Email the show. Send a voicemail. Hit me up and say, Jay, I need you to talk some Warriors. Jay, I need you to talk some Cavs. Jay, I need you to talk some Magic. Jay, I need you to talk some Suns. Talk about it. Talk to me. Hoops Talk for the streets, man. If you also want to be a guest on the show, let me know as well. Or if you have other people that you think will be a good candidate to be on the show as well, definitely let me know. Send me a voicemail, all of that good stuff. And keep it locked here with me, man, because you know the streets is on fire. Above the Rim is on fire. You know how we doing this season. Get your merch. Stop playing with me. Get the merch. Good quality. Hit me up, family. I appreciate y'all. It's all love, as always. I do this all for you guys, so it's always one love. I appreciate y'all. Keep hitting me up, interacting with me on Twitter, Instagram, and all that good stuff. I appreciate y'all. This is episode 167. We out.